So finally, after a grueling few years of being homebound, you are ready to hop on a plane and travel to that picturesque tropical locale, or you're off to a bustling new city and you're ready to press record and capture that once-in-a-lifetime moment. But after just coming back from London and Mykonos, I have 5 quick travel tips that I wish I knew beforehand, before I even packed my camera bag, that I think will save you in a pinch and help save and share your memories for your upcoming adventure. And one bonus tip at the end that still haunts me to this day. But first, what camera are you bringing? So I took my Sony A7C, my Sony ZV1, my GoPro 9, and my DJI Mini2, but these tips are for anybody going anywhere with any type of camera. So my number 1 tip is go light. And now that probably sounds ridiculous after I just listed all the gear that I'm bringing, but all that and my MacBook Air fit in this $60 Amazon backpack that I'll tell you more about in a minute. So it is a lot, but they are all the most compact versions that you can get. For example, the Sony A7C is the smallest full frame camera, basically. I've got a tiny action cam for underwater shots, a smaller than 250 grams drone so I can fly without a license, a pocketable point and shoot cam, and then this tiny tripod. But when I say go light, I also mean with your lenses. So for me, with lens choices, I am bringing 2 at most, and 2 compact ones at that. So for me, the fastest and cheapest compact lens is a Rokinon 24 2.8. Now I've done a whole video on this and I could do more because I vlog on it. It's so freaking light and cheap, so if anything happens to it, I'm fine. I also brought my 7 Artisans APS-C manual focus lens, the 50mm 0.95, and I didn't use it, but it's small and it's my artsy lens that if I want a creative shot at 0.95, it's just magical. But again, I didn't use it, but you never know. It was my one non-essential piece. So tip 2 is go cheap, or go with your cheaper options. And obviously the camera too, is that Sony A7C is a compact camera. It's not necessarily cheap, but it's cheaper than my FX3, which I didn't take for numerous reasons, because the A7C is a better hybrid camera, and I don't think I'd emotionally survive if anything happened to my FX3. So it was much safer at home. But again, going light for me is being able to put everything on my back at all times or in the overhead compartment of the multiple planes I was taking. Quick side tip, never check your gear. Always carry it with you on the plane. Okay. Because if for whatever reason anything happened to my stuff, at least I'd still have, and I'm grateful to be able to have, my bigger and less cheap gear at home. So tip 3, be organized. So again, this backpack is one of those top of the list bags when you search for photography bags on Amazon. And because it was also so cheap, I didn't think it would be a quality bag or big enough. But I can fit in my full frame camera, 2 lenses, 4 batteries and a charger, my ZV1, multiple batteries and a charger. And again, my GoPro, multiple batteries and a charger, my controller with, you guessed it, multiple batteries and a charger, my laptop, external SSD, tons of extra memory cards, cause you'll need them, a tripod, a camera strap, lens cleaning supplies, and a little bag. Oh, this little bag is great if you just want to take out your camera for a day on a hike without bringing this whole thing. I got this little bag for like $10. So everything is in its place. I never rearrange anything, so I always know where everything is. I could find batteries for my GoPro in the dark, because staying organized saves you time. And sometimes the sun is setting and you have seconds to grab a shot, so you have to know where everything is. Oh, and I have this last piece in here, which brings me to tip number 4. Bring an ND filter, even a little 2-stop one. I literally got this free in some bundle that I got, but it's part of traveling light and cheap. This works perfectly with my Rokinon, and if you don't know what an ND filter is, I'll say what everyone else says. It's like sunglasses for your lens, and where you're probably traveling, you're headed somewhere sunny, hopefully. And so your image doesn't get blown out or overexposed, you need some shades on it. Obviously, a variable ND, one that goes from 1 to 5 stops or more of light reduction, is better, but they also get bigger and more expensive. I have the variable ND filter that I keep on my FX3, and of course it's an 82mm filter size, which is neither light, cheap, or easily stowed away, breaking all these rules in one fell swoop. Again, the object is to be quick and nimble on your feet, so you can pick up your camera and shoot first and ask questions later, because you'd rather capture too much than too little. Which brings me to my next tip. Tip number 5, shoot everything and find the story later. You will find the story in the edit because you're going to cut 95% of what you shoot, especially if you're going to share it on social media or YouTube, but happy accidents can't occur if you aren't rolling. So the real tip is to have a big memory card. 128 gigs should be good. You're more likely going to make art in the edit, not in the planning. If you plan for a shot like you used to have to do when you were shooting film, the likelihood of catching magic is almost nil, because when you're traveling like most of us do and not specifically going out to shoot, you won't have time to set up each shot, because everybody knows magic has to be captured. It can't be manufactured. No, I don't know about that, maybe. But one thing I highly recommend is to help you find your story in the edit is to put yourself in a few of the locations, announcing that you're in the location. For me, it's super corny. I still hate vlogging in public, but it can definitely help shape the story later. Okay, I'm in London. I got a tux on. I got the Sony A7C and I'm gonna take it for a stroll. All right, let's see. People wanna see people, not just pretty things. So intersperse your travel shots with people interacting within the scene. Okay, so now I'm in Mykonos with my Sony A7C and I'm just at the hotel right now. I haven't really explored, so I went from London to Mykonos in Greece, and so far it's beautiful. This isn't my private pool. Now, I did not do this enough during this trip, as I was the only one with the camera and I didn't want to be that guy, so I had to sneak in a few of me when no one was looking. Regardless, you are going to want to cut the fat anyways, because most people don't care to see every detail of your trip. They just want to see the highlights, and if there's a story stringing them together, they may actually even enjoy it. So here's the bonus tip that's sort of contrary to what I just said, but hear me out. Don't let your camera ruin your trip. Don't forget to be present. But why I say this haunts me and why this is a tricky one is, I have this reoccurring nightmare, literally, where I'm in the presence of the most awe-inspiring sunset or some once-in-a-lifetime moment, and I go to grab my camera or my phone to snap it or catch a video, and my camera or the app won't work. And I struggle against this fleeting moment of pure beauty, missing the shot every time. It's analogous to being chased by a monster and you're attempting to flee, but you're in quicksand. Have you had those dreams, or is that just me? But I have had these moments in real life too, where my drone battery dies right before the most perfect sunset occurred. Or like in Greece, I should have brought my drone on this boat that I took in the Aegean Sea, and my GoPro, because we rented these little submergible underwater jet ski things, a sea bob they're called, in the most clear water I've ever seen in my life. And I and my friend both left our GoPros in the hotel, and all my camera gear. But it was a somewhat conscious decision because I knew I was going with a big group of friends and we'd be drinking and we were there to have a good time and not obsess over shots, which I definitely would have done. And still, luckily, everybody has their phone and most girls are here for the gram or whatnot, so luckily, we did get some shots. Yet, phones are still meh video. But I had to make a sacrifice to enjoy the outing instead of trying to appease the YouTube gods or battle my nightmare demons to make a killer boating excursion film, and it would have been killer, but it was only meant to be a memory and not a production. Maybe not everything needs to be captured, caged in time on a memory card. Maybe some things are just better left lived. And like Angela Bassett says,
memories were meant to fade, Lenny. They're designed that way for a reason.
So I make content to help creators create with filmmaking tips, tools, and reviews. So if that's your thing, please consider following along, as I've got much more on the way. So I hope you found this helpful. Thank you for your time and attention, and safe travels. Okay, bye y'all.